Today on George Washington's birthday, we will look at the life of George Washington and what he meant for people in America and America even becoming the United States of America. He played a big part in that, people. My name's Travis, and let's get started. George Washington was born before there was a United States of America. On February 22nd, 1732. He was born in Westmoreland, Virginia. He grew up in Colonial, Virginia. His father, a landowner and a planter, died when George was just 11 years old. George's oldest brother, Lawrence, vowed to take care of him. He taught him how to read, how to write, and how to do everything somebody would get taught in school today. George was a very smart kid. George left home at 16 to find a job. He found a job as a surveyor. His job was to measure land and make maps. After that, George joined the Virginia Army. Eventually, he was put in charge of an entire militia that he was a part of. And this was during the start of the French and Indian War. This war was a big war and had a tremendous impact on America's independence. After the French and Indian War, George married Martha Custis. They lived on a farm in Mount Vernon, Virginia. Although they didn't have kids of their own together, George was the stepfather to two kids that Martha had from her first marriage. He raised them very well. George was a natural leader and eventually took his skills to the colonial legislature. This group discussed a lot of things, but most importantly, they all agreed that they were being treated unfairly by England. They did not like the way England was running the colonies. George and other landowners were not happy with England because of all the rules and laws that they were making for the colonies. Colonists did not like it at all. When England decided not to change their rules, the colonists decided to declare their independence, and they chose George to lead their army. When America declared their independence, it started one of the biggest wars in American history, the American Revolution. George led a group of volunteers and soldiers to fight against well-trained British army. George's group was constantly low on food and supplies. At times, they even went into war without shoes on. But despite all of this, George was able to keep that army together. One of the famous stories is George crossing the Delaware River. On Christmas Day in 1776, on a cold, wintry night, George's army set on one side of the Delaware River, and the British army was on the other side. The British army was holding up a town called Trenton, New Jersey. The only thing that separated these two armies was the river. The British didn't expect an attack, so when Washington arrived, the British were not prepared. They surrendered, which led to the Americans winning the American Revolution. After a few years, Americans created their own government, and George led the Constitutional Congress. This group drew up the constitutional document. This document is all the laws and rules that the United States has today. It's called the Constitution. And when it came to pick a leader, they all agreed there was no one better to lead them than George Washington. And so George Washington became the first president of the United States of America. George died on December 14, 1799. He was at his Mount Vernon home. Today he is learned about by kids and adults all over this country. He is honored in Washington, D.C. with Washington's Monument. And he is also honored on Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. So happy birthday, George. You were not only a great president, but you were a great person as well. The laws that we adhere to and abide to today from the Constitution is all because of you. So I want to say thank you. If you like anything I said in this video, hit the like button, subscribe, leave comments. I'm open to comments, and have a good day.